Hey, magandang umaga, Dr. Cortez. Ating lesson now, income taxation. We are now in lesson number 7. Sa mga first time kong attendee, first time to view my channel, I am Dr. Cortez. I am your business doctor. We're going to discuss today another lesson on taxation. Ito yung ating mga topics to be covered. I want to share yung ano na topics na to. Forms of tax on persons, real property tax, state or inheritance tax, gift or donor's tax, capital gains, and income taxes. Ito yung ating i-cover ngayong araw na to. Ito yung I'm not teaching this one. I'm not teaching taxation. I'm just sharing yung aking mga nababasa sa different literature and tax law of the Philippines na pwedeng gamitin sa mga business. Tulad nyo as business person, business students, and or plain readers lang ng aking channel. Okay, and I want to start with this one. Just a trivia. Kasi this one only started in July 1, 2020. Starting July 1, 2020 kasi, yung mga owners ng corporations and partnerships na type of business organization, yung kanilang tax is reduced from 30% to 25% starting July 1, 2020. Ayan, so yung mga corporations having, ito yung general rule, yung mga corporations or partnership na normal, 25% yung kanilang mga taxes. But exception dito, except yung mga corporations ng kanilang net taxable revenue is less than 5 million pesos. In total assets of less than 100 million, yung kanilang tax ay 20% lang. Yan, so hinati natin, no? Pag ang corporation or partnership, ang kanyang revenue ay less than 5 million or ang kanyang total asset is below 100 million, ang kanyang tax na babayaran is only 20%. Okay? But yung mga corporations na above 5 million yung kanilang revenue, above 100 million yung kanilang revenue, mas mataas pa lang tax na babayaran. That is 25%. Alright? So, sample ng income na babayaran. Ang benta ng isang corporation, we call that the sales. Sample lang for the sake of discussion lang, litan lang natin yung amount. Yung benta or sales, that is 10,000 pesos. Yung kanyang puhunan or cost of sales is 6,000 pesos. So yung kanyang cost is 60% of the total revenue or sale. That is 6,000 divided by 10,000. Yung ating puhunan ay 60%, no? Ating benta. Then yung ating gross profit or gross income is 4,000. 10,000 less 6,000, gross profit or gross income is 4,000 pesos. Now, assuming ng gastos natin, ibang cost sa gastos, ang cost puhunan. Expenses, mga gastos. Assuming na ating gastos ay 500 pesos. Yung ating net income or tubo ang tawag natin, that is 3,500. Yung 3,500, ito yung ating itatax. Yung pinakatubo ang tinatak sa atin ng Bureau of Internal Revenue. Now, before July 1, 2020, ang tax na binabayaran ay 30%. Before July 1, and sabi ko kanina, starting July 1, 2020, yung tax rate ay iniba na. Binaba na siya sa 25%. So from 30% goes down to 25%. Corporation starting July 1, 2020. So multiplying 3.5 before July 1, 2020, multiplying 3.5 by 30%, yung tax due or babayarang tax ng isang corporation is 1,050. Ayan, no? A simple discussion. Then let's move on. Tax, tax imposed on persons and property. Ang tinataxation natin, actually tatlo, no? Yung person or individual, yung isang business, tapos meron tayong mga excise tax or binabayaran sa mga transactions na inyong ginawa. So, the three general types of taxation in the Philippines. Yung letter A, personal or capitation or poll taxes. These are taxes or of fixed amount upon residence or tao to. For persons of a certain class without regard to their property or business. So, ito talaga ay regardless of your property, meron kang property or wala, meron kang business or wala, may tax kang binabayaran. Because that is based on your income. Pag ikaw isang residente, ito yung mga taong may salary na binabayaran, binabawasan sila bawat payday ng kanilang mga company. Walang property or walang business, may binabayaran. Kasi we are talking about the personal taxes. Yung pangalawa, letter B, property taxes. Annual tax that may be imposed by a province or city. Pag ikaw taga Quezon City, yung Quezon City government, ang naninilas sa atin ng local tax na property taxes. Okay? So imposed by province, pwedeng city, pwedeng municipality, depending on in which are you living in. Imposed on real property, such as yung lupa mo, binabayaran na real property tax yan. Yung building, yung machinery, and other improvements. Pag sinabi improvements, ito yung mga structure na naka-attach sa yung property. Example, yung monument, gano'n, no? Or stage, or fixed structure, mga land improvements to swimming pool, yan. Example ng ng kasama sa binabayaran mong property taxes annually. It is paid before April 15. Example, yung property tax mo for 2024 is payable before April 15 of 2025. Pwede magbayad ng maaga. Pag na-late ka, siyempre may surcharge or penalty na binabayaran. Pag nagbayad ka ng maaga, meron namang discount, like 20% discount dun sa tax na yung babayaran. Okay, so magkano ba yung 20%? Example, pag ang tax mo ay 1,000, so ang discount mo ay 200. So 800 na lang babayaran mo sa real property tax mo. Okay, so let's move on. How much is the real property tax? So yung local government code kasi ay provinces or city or municipality are authorized to impose taxes dun sa mga property such as land, building, machinery improvements sa example sa Metro Manila, no? So magkano yung tax na binabayaran? The Metro Manila rate for real property pag sa Metro Manila ka should not exceed 2% nung assessed value ng iyong property. Pag sa city yan, Metro Manila. Pero pag sa province ka, the tax rate should not exceed 1% of the assessed value of the property. Yan, 1%. So, pag 10,000 ang assessed value ng isang property, so that is 100 pesos pag 1%. Pag 1%. Yan. So, ano ba yung assessed value? Yung 2% sa Metro Manila and 1% in the province should be based on the assessed value. So, ano ba yung assessed value ng isang property, land, machinery? So, the assessed values shall be determined by applying the assessment rate ranging from 10 to 80% of the value of the property. So, hindi yung buong value ng property ang tinatax natin. Yung assessed value lang. So, ang assessed value, pwede siyang 10%, 20%, hanggang 80% ng value or actual use of property. Ayan. So, meron tayong, depending on the ordinances ng isang city. Example, sabi ng Quezon City Government Ordinance, the assessed value should be 80%. ng real property. So, doon tayo mag-base ng 1% o ng 2% in the case of Metro Manila. In addition, explanation assessed value. In computing the real property tax ng napagmayari mo, the formula is the real estate rate of 2% multiplied by the assessed value of the property. So, assessed value, ito yung fair market value multiplied by the assessment level fixed through ordinances. Example, yung value ng property, yung fair market value ng property mo ay 100,000 pesos. 100,000 pesos. Ilista nyo ha. Yung sabi ng Quezon City Government, based sa kanyang ordinance, the assessed value should be 80%. Yung fair market value. Okay? So fair market value, 100,000. Ilan ang 80% ng 100,000? 80,000 pesos. So 80,000 pesos is the assessed value ng yung property. Yung 80,000 pesos, yun ang ating multiply dun sa 2% na tax rate, not exceeding 2% na tax rate sa Metro Manila. Pag sa province, that is 1%. And that's how we compute yung real property tax na yung babayaran. Right? So, hoping that this one is clear. May sample ako dito sa susunod na slide. Sample. Residential unit located in Makati, so that is in Metro Manila. Owned by Jesus Gulapa. Ang kanyang market price ay 10 million. Market price pa lang yan ha. Hindi pa yan ang assessed value. The property is comprised of a parcel of land. So 10 million, di ba? So 6 million is the land. Then 4 million is the building plus the improvement. So pag tinotal natin yun, yung value ng land sa building eh. Yung total is 6 million plus 4 million. You have 10 million fair market value. So hindi pa yan. Hindi pa natin assessed value. Then we compute for the total assessed value of the property by adding the assessed value of the residential land and assessed value of the building. So yung residential land natin, di ba, 6 million. Multiplied by the assessment level. Sabi natin, example, in Makati, ang kanilang ordinance, 20% ang assessed value. So, 6 million multiplied by 20%, you will get 1,200 para sa land o lupa. Dito sa building, ganun din, 4 million, di ba? Multiplied by the assessed value, assessment level, 40%. Assessment level, 40% given by the city ordinance ng Makati, that is 40%. So multiplied, we have 4 million by 40%, we have 1,600,000 pesos. So 1,200,000 plus 1,600,000, the assessed value of the property is 2,800,000 pesos. So ito yung assessed value. Then mo multiply the 2,800,000 by the 2%. 2% kasi ang Makati na sa Metro Manila. So, we have 56,000 real property tax na babayaran. Jesus Gulapa. Ayan, that is how we compute the real property. And we move on to the next one. Ito naman yung estate tax. Estate tax, pareho lang siya ng inheritance tax natin. So, estate tax, the right of transmitting property at the time of death and on the privilege that a person is given in controlling to a certain extent the disposition of his property to take effect upon death. So, una pa lang, sinasabi ko dito, ang inheritance tax or estate tax is 6%. So, the inheritance tax is a tax imposed on beneficiaries who inherit assets from a state. So, pag ikaw ay may minana or kasi ang inheritance tax, ito yung pag may namatay, di ba? So, ikaw yung pinamanahan. So, meron kang babayarang inheritance tax or estate tax, no? Yung tawag natin. Okay, so magkano? We have the 6%. No? In the Philippines, the meaning of estate tax is in case the person dies, pag namatay isang tao, and he will transfer property and assets to the family or his family, meron tax payment na babayaran. So what's the difference between estate tax and inheritance? So walang difference. Pareho lang ang estate tax sa inheritance tax. So magkano sa atin in the country? Estate tax is 6% on the net estate of a resident, which must be filed and paid within 1 year. Yan. So, pag may minana ka from the previous owner who passed away already. So, example, 10 million ang worth ng kanyang estate. Tapos meron mga ibabawas pa doon. Example, may utang siya, di ba? So, natirang value ay 8 million na lang. 8 million, yung tinatawag nating net estate of the person na magpapamana. So, 8 million, yun yung ating multiply ng 6%. Kasi ang state tax or inheritance tax is 6%. Yan. Babayaran niya ng natanggap ng pamana, inheritance tax, ang tawag natin dyan. Okay, so, hoping that this one is clear, no? Hindi pa tayo sa susunod. Ito naman yung gift or donor's tax. Yung inheritance tax kanina or estate tax, yun ay pag namatay na yung may-ari. Ito naman, iba. Buhay pa yung ano dito yung may-ari. So gift or donor's tax, a tax on the privilege of transmitting one's property or property rights to another or others without adequate and full valuable consideration. So gift or donor's tax. So basahin natin yung definition niya, no? Based sa Philippine law, ano ba yung donor's tax or gift tax? It is imposed on the gratuitous transfer of property between two or more persons who are still living at the time of the transfer. Pero pa silang buhay. Kasi pag namatay na yung nagbigay, so estate tax or inheritance tax, no? Ang tawag natin doon. In the Philippines, donations are generally subject to 6%. So nakalagay dyan, 6% donor's tax. Certain exemptions apply and the tax should be paid within 30 days. 30 days, na? Following the donation. So pag donor's tax, buhay pa yung nagbigay, 30 days after ng donation, babayaran yung donor's tax. Pag inheritance tax kanina, patay na yung may-ari, 100 days. Yan, yung pinagkaiba ng dalawa. Okay, so example, nag-donate ka, 10 million ulit. Buhay ka, 10 million. So 6% ng 10 million, magkano? So let's do the mathematics. 10 million times 6%, okay, that is 600,000. Malaki rin no? 600,000 babayaran mong tax. Okay, babayaran may-ari. 600,000. Sila ka ng kita na rin ng biyaya na babayaran. Pag binayaran so di binayaran, so that is what we call the tax evasion. So may kaso ka na tax evasion. Alright, so let's move on sa ating next slide. Capital gains tax naman tayo. So basahin natin yung definition ng capital gains tax. Tax imposed on the sale of exchange or exchange of property. Those imposed are presumed to have been realized by the seller for the sale, exchange, or other disposition of real property located in the Philippines, classified as capital asset. Natin definition ng ating kwan. Wala naman natin capital gains tax. Capital asset. So, ang capital gains tax ay binabayaran pag nagbenta ka ng capital asset. So, ano ba yung capital asset? Yung capital asset, ito yung mga asset na ginagamit mo to earn revenue or ginagamit sa business. So, yung land, yung building, sasakyan na ginagamit sa business to earn revenue. So, capital asset yun. Now, pag binenta mo ang capital asset, so meron kang babayarang mga taxes. So tinatawag nating CGT, capital gains tax ang tawag natin diyan. So the real estate is a capital asset, no? Pag capital asset 'yan, so hindi naman lahat ng asset capital eh. Example, pag yung bahay mo na personal, hindi sa capital asset. Kasi ang capital asset maliwanag, pag ginagamit mo 'yan to raise revenue. Or basically ginagamit sa business. If the real estate is a capital asset, the purchase is subject to capital gains tax. Magkano? 6% of the gross selling price. Yan. So, madaling tandaan yun, ha? Yung inheritance tax, 6%, donors tax, 6%, capital gains tax, 6%. Kaya pinagsama-sama natin sa isang lesson, yung mga transactions na 6% yung kanilang tax na binabayaran. Okay? So, magkano? 6% ng alin? 6% ng fair market value or gross selling price or zonal value ng isang property. Right? So, may tatlong value ang property. Unang-una, kung magkano binenta. Yan ang gross selling price na tinatawag natin. Yung pangalawa, yung fair market value. Magkano ang bintahan ng isang property na current or common sa isang area. Yung pangatlo, the zonal value. And yung zonal value is determined ng isang city kung magkano. Example, lahat ng lupa or building sa zone na to, pinito ang kanyang value. So, zonal value ang tawag natin doon. So, merong tatlong value. Saan doon ang gagamitin? Gagamitin mo doon kung sinong pinakamataas na value. Example, yung value ng property ay 500,000 pesos. Fair market value is 500,000 pesos. Pero ang binenta mo siya, 700,000 pesos. Yung gagamitin natin ay yung 700,000 pesos. Whichever is higher sa tatlong value. Or yung value ng property is 500,000. Fair market value. Tumawad yung buyer. So, 400,000 lang ang bintahan nyo. Yung gagamitin natin ay yung fair market value kasi ng higher. Basta kahit kung mag-discount man niya, tinaasan mo, yung pinakamataas na value ang ating gagamitin. Yung pinakamataas na value, yun ang gagamitin natin para sa 6% na tax or capital gains tax. 6%, di ba? Ng fair market value or gross selling price or zonal value, whichever is higher ang ating gagamitin. Okay? So, 500,000 pesos. 500,000 pesos ang gross selling price ng property. So, times 6%. 30,000 ang babayaran mong tax. So, once again, capital assets are tangible and liquid property which a business intends to use to generate revenue. So pag yung bahay mo ay hindi man ginagamit sa business, hindi sa capital asset. Pag yung sasakyan ay ginagamit sa business, capital asset yon. Pero pag yung sasakyan ay hindi ginagamit sa business, pang personal lang, hindi sa capital asset. So yung tinatax natin na binibenta mo, yung capital asset lang. Pag yung bahay binenta mo, wala sang tax. Kasi hindi sa capital asset. Okay? So, property, plant, equipment, example, land, building, and machinery, ginagamit sa business, those are capital asset entitled to 6% CGT or capital gains tax. Alright. So, let's move on sa ating next slide. Income taxes, no? So, sabi ko kanina, may mga tatlong klase yung tax na binabayaran or tatlong klase yung taxpayer natin. Yung individual, yung business, tapos yung transaction like inheritance tax or donors tax. Ito, letter C, income tax, taxes imposed on income of the taxpayer. Yung inheritance tax kasi, yun ay based sa transaction. May mga taxes na binabayaran based sa yung income. Income tax is an example of taxes imposed on income of the taxpayer from whatever sources it is derived outside the country or inside the country. Di ba? May lesson tayo last time. May mga taxpayer na nagbabayad ng taxes sa outside income or income within the Philippines. The tax on all yearly profits arising from property, possession, trades, or offices. So, if wala kang business, basta mayroon kang salary, you're required to pay taxes. Okay, so let's move sa next slide natin. Ito naman excise tax or license tax imposed on the person, occupation, or business not falling within the classification of poll taxes or property taxes. Ito yung mga taxes imposed doon sa mga sample, alcohol products na binibenta, tobacco products, petroleum products, lubricating oil, grease, processed gas. Ikaw ay seller or dealer ng mga tobacco, petroleum, oil, grease, processed gas, etc. Mineral products such as coal and coke and quarry resources. Or miscellaneous articles such as automobiles. These are entitled to required to pay excise tax. Yan. So pwede siyang based on volume or per liter, per gallon. So ganun, per metric tons. So excise tax yan. Pag based sa unit of measurement ang ating ginagamit. Kasi yung alcohol, example, 10 liters of alcohol, may tax yan, excise tax. Kasi mayroon kang ginamit na measurement. Lubricating oil, may mga measurement yan, liter, gallon. So excise tax ang ating ginagamit para sa mga yan. Okay, and kung magkano, so meron tayong separate lesson kung magkano excise tax na binabayaran din sa mga specific products na yan. Ito naman yung trust. Trust is a relationship. Relationship whereby property, real or personal, tangible or intangible, is held by one party for the benefit of another party. A trust conveniently arises when property is transferred by one party to be held by another party for the benefit of a third party. Ang gulo rin, although it is also possible for a legal owner to create a trust of property. So simply means, ang trust ay relationship. Example, may isang bata na bata pa siya, hindi pa sa majority of age, may pinamana sa kanya. So hindi pa sa legal age to own or possess property. Yung kanyang property iniwan sa kanya ng somebody, example, kamag-anak na mayaman, yun muna ay ilalagay sa trust. Example, in a bank. Bangko muna mag-possess ng kanyang mga property hanggang hindi pa sa tamang edad. Okay? Then pag nakaabot na siya ng legal age like 18, so yung property ay ililipat na sa kanyang pangalan. So pwede siyang real or personal property. Pag sinabing real property, ito yung mga property hindi easily removable like land or building. Ang personal property, example, yung mga sasakyan. Ang tangible property, itong mga property na may physical characteristic or attributes. Nung nahawakan na property, tangible. Pag sinabing tangible, itong mga property mo na wala siyang physical characteristics like trademarks, patents, goodwill, franchise, or royalty. Sino na ihawakan muna ng bangko for the benefit of another person. So, pwede may pagkatiwala yung isang property sa isang tao. Okay, so I have a last slide here. Yan. So a trustee may be either a natural person or an artificial person. So pwedeng tao yung trustee. Example, may magpapamana ng lupa. Isang batang-bata pa, yung bata 10 years old pa lang, so hindi pa sa qualified. So, sinong trustee? So, pwedeng tao. Natural person. Or pwedeng artificial person like a bank or a banko or a company. So, ang trustee pwede siyang multiple, pwedeng single trust. There may be a single beneficiary or multiple beneficiaries. The settlor may himself be a beneficiary. Ayan. So, pwede yung example, may nagpamana ng lolo ng pera sa'yo. Ikaw, binigay sa'yo. Bata ka pa, 10 years old ka pa lang. Ikaw ay, sabi mo, bata pa ako, itong pinamana sa akin, ilalaga ko muna sa bangko for the meantime. So, ikaw yung settlor, at the same time, ikaw pa rin beneficiary. So, pag aabot mo ng tamang edad, like 18, ikaw na beneficiary ng trust fund na nilagay mo sa bangko. Okay, so that is the last slide for today, guys. I hope that I am Dr. Cortez. I'm hoping to see you guys sa mga susunod nating mga lessons. And bye everyone.